Every time I visit my mom, we like to spend the night laughing at a variety of Gordon Ramsay reality shows. Our favorite was always Kitchen Nightmares, a show where the celebrity chef visits failing restaurants and seeks to improve their business, creativity, and standards. While tough, Gordon's guidance is usually reasonable, and the restaurants did tend to see improvements after he left, even if most of them failed within a few years due to the recession at the time. Gordon and his team actually revived the United States version of Kitchen Nightmares for an 8th and ninth season a couple years ago, but those episodes didn't have the same chaotic and campy feel as the original Kitchen Nightmares. A couple weeks ago, I got a phone call from my mom who was very excited to tell me about this new Gordon Ramsay show like Kitchen Nightmares but not, called Secret Service. This is a show that maintains the best aspects of Kitchen Nightmares but remixes them in an almost Mystery Diners style. Mystery Diners was a Food Network show that aired around the end of the original Kitchen Nightmares, in which restaurant owners would solicit the help of an undercover team to reveal hidden bad practices within their businesses. The show has a pretty abysmal reputation because people think it was mostly, if not entirely, staged. But Gordon Ramsay shows don't have that bad of a reception when it comes to realism.
Don't fuck with me.
Shows like Hell's Kitchen are highly dramatized, but with shows like Kitchen Nightmares that involve real people in real restaurants, you can find many accounts from those people stating that the shows are not that scripted. I'm not saying they're real, no reality show is, but they're definitely realer than Mystery Diners. There are only 5 episodes of Secret Service out as of writing this, so I'm just going to pick what I consider to be the most eventful one to use as an example. Every episode of Secret Service starts with Gordon Ramsay and a couple camera operators breaking into the restaurant. And I do mean breaking in. In this episode, Gordon is told by an employee that the only way in is to push the lock with a screwdriver. Did none of these places have security alarms?
Have you done that before?
This breaking in the middle of the night segment is definitely the most fake to me, but it also plays on my favorite part of Kitchen Nightmares in a really fun way. On that show, around halfway through each episode, Gordon will sneak off to go investigate the storage while the restaurant is open and the owner and employees are distracted. He usually finds something gross, confronts the owner, and sometimes that night's service has to get cut short. All of that interaction is removed on Secret Service. Gordon goes into pantries and freezers under the shroud of darkness, using restaurant spy gadgets to gauge just how disgusting these places really are. He saves the confrontation about this stuff for later, which is really weird when you watch the taste test part coming up. This episode is about a soul food restaurant in Phoenix, Arizona called Mrs. White's Golden Rule Cafe, which Gordon parks outside of in the most conspicuous undercover van I've ever seen. I have several issues with this van. I've never seen one of those white vans that didn't look like it had been through something. Second, the logos look like they were just put on there yesterday. And third, the logos aren't even realistic. We don't know who Don is, there's no kind of contact information anywhere, and if they were really trying to convince people it's a real company's vehicle, they'd put a little trademark symbol or something next to it. Maybe legally they can't do that? Inside, Gordon has a series of monitors and their corresponding controls so he can view what's going on in the restaurant, presumably live. He acts like he's in control of it, but in a later episode, he asks someone off-screen to change a camera angle, so add that to the list of problems I have with this van. Okay, the first time I watched this, I thought it was a joke when it said the owner's age was 101. She looks old, but not over 100 years old. Like, she's still walking and talking coherently. It's actually really impressive. If I ever get to 101 years old, I'll still be rambling about Gordon Ramsay. Because Mrs. White is so old, she put her less old but still elderly son Larry in charge of the restaurant. Look at this man go. He is crushing that Krispy Kreme so hard it's all over his shirt. Is this the look of a man who cares that his 101-year-old mother's restaurant is dying? But to be fair, I don't think I could care anymore at 75 years old either. There is a third generation in this restaurant, the granddaughter Kiana, who seems like the only one in the family who's really aware that things need to change. Why they let Larry call the shots over Kiana, I do not know. That's up to Gordon to solve. So since the show is called Secret Service, all but one of the subjects think they're on a different show about refurbishing failing restaurants. You can even see it says Restaurant Refresh on the slate they used for interviews in other episodes.
You guys know you're being filmed for a restaurant refresh show? I'm sorry, it's not real.
Gordon is in contact with one employee he calls the Insider, who gives him the honest truth about the restaurant's operations. Calling it now the Insider is definitely not Larry. These graphics are another thing I love-hate about Secret Service. They're so unnecessary, but so funny to me because of that. Like, yeah, I could tell that the staff were unhappy when Larry started yelling at them for asking for a 10-cent raise. I don't think I need the text to tell me that.
Larry's car, front seat, passenger side.
Yeah, I've just gone off from 2 to 3, zoom in. Oh my lord.
This I haven't even seen on Kitchen Nightmares. I guess they don't normally have cameras set up outside on that show, but they have to on Secret Service so they can get shots of the incredibly convincing van. Thanks to this outside camera, we're treated to a shot of catfish rotting beneath the Arizona sun in Larry's car. A moment so symbolic that I have to wonder if it's fake, but judging by the reactions about it later, I kind of feel like this is real. I already mentioned some things that I think Secret Service does better than the original Kitchen Nightmares. I like that the initial food inspection happens before even seeing the staff and restaurant, and this camera setup outdoors is capturing things we otherwise wouldn't get to see. But now we arrive at the taste test portion of the show, which is very different.
I've got a secret weapon up my sleeve. I've enlisted the help of an amazing chef, a dear friend of mine, Rock Harper.
On this show, instead of eating the biohazards himself, Gordon sends his good friends and contestants from Hell's Kitchen to do it instead. Gordon literally just saw all the gross stuff in storage and he's fine with making these people eat it. I know they have to know what they're getting into, but I can't help but feel like Gordon isn't following the golden rule that this restaurant is named after. I think Gordon is probably just tired of having to visit a gastroenterologist after shooting every single one of these seasons. Gordon sends in the season 3 winner of Hell's Kitchen, Rock, to build up his own iron stomach. They gave Rock a body cam, which feels unnecessary, just like those graphics from earlier. The only shots you ever see from it are him holding the menu and picking at food. This is a good segue into my biggest and really only problem with Secret Service. It feels more about the gimmick of the show than actually focusing on the restaurants. Kitchen Nightmares was highly formulaic and oftentimes predictable, but every episode does have some individual funny or notable aspect to it because it really was about the restaurants, the staffs, and the owners. Secret Service spends a lot of effort dedicated to its undercover aesthetic, with Gordon in his tricked out tech van for a lot of the episode's runtime and overstimulating graphics that make the show feel more like a YouTube video than a professional television program. Like, we don't need to see the ATP test and have the science behind it explained in every episode. We can tell there's bacteria just by using our eyes. We don't need Rock wearing a body cam or animated graphics that tell us the locations of places we can understand without text. While comical, these production elements take away from what should be the real focus of the show, the restaurants and the people who work in them. Anyway, Rock is wearing an earpiece so Gordon can talk to him while he's taste testing the food. Normally, another Hell's Kitchen alum goes with Rock, but he's alone in this episode, so Gordon tells him to pretend he's on the phone when he wants to respond. Rock forgets this immediately and starts talking out loud, which makes him seem like a crazy person talking to himself.
What's going on? Still no food?
Not yet.
I'm allowed to say this, I talk to myself, I just save it for when I'm not in public.
Chicken should be dredged and then fried, which keeps it crisp on the outside and moist in the center.
You know, sometimes I forget this is a show about food with all the drama and spy stuff going on.
Oh my goodness me. Larry's zonked out.
While they're incorrectly cooking chicken and Rock is talking to himself in a corner, Larry is sound asleep in the middle of the restaurant. I feel like this episode alone is breaking Gordon Ramsay show records here. First, this guy leaves fish of all things in his very hot car, then he falls asleep on the job. So Rock gets his food and announces to the camera that he's scared, which he should be.
I'm a little scared.
He says that the chicken smells like dish soap somehow. I don't know if this is just how it appears on the show, but after Rock eats the soap chicken, Gordon decides to let him know about the incorrectly kept slimy chicken he found the day before. So not only is Gordon sending in people to go eat food he knows is bad, he's not even telling them how bad it is until after it's already in their bodies. Gordon's probably eaten so many soap chickens in his day that it doesn't even strike him as something to warn Rock about. I love this monitor on Gordon's left. That's just a Larry sleeping cam. Very important footage, guys.
I'm going in. Oh boy.
This is something Gordon says in every episode of Secret Service once he finally starts getting antsy from sitting in that van all day. This is the moment when the people at the restaurant realize that the show they had been sold was a lie, and Gordon Ramsay is here to make a fool out of them. Some people might call this unethical, but honestly, in terms of reality television lies, this is not that devastating. If these people who submit their restaurants to a television show want it to succeed through that show, Gordon Ramsay is their best hope. He already has this reputation for fixing failing businesses on numerous shows: Kitchen Nightmares in the US and UK, Hotel Hell, 24 Hours to Hell and Back, and now Secret Service. If they had known that the show they were applying to was a Gordon Ramsay show, would they have avoided it? Probably not. Failing due to bad management. We know. Before Gordon even goes into the restaurant, he grabs the catfish out of Larry's car. This level of incompetence could be real, but how is Gordon getting into Larry's car without a key? Does Larry just leave his car unlocked all the time? Obviously, I know this moment has to be fake, so I don't believe Gordon when he says it stinks as he takes the boxes out of the car. Those are probably empty boxes. Larry's car is a prop. It also seems really fake when Gordon goes into the restaurant and Larry says this.
Oh, yeah, that's the boss man. He's here.
He says it so casually that there's no way he didn't know Gordon was coming. Larry seems like a pretty nonchalant guy, but regardless, I would assume he'd be shocked to see Gordon walking in with supposedly stinking boxes of fish. Remember how I mentioned on Kitchen Nightmares sometimes Gordon will shut down the restaurant?
I'm so disappointed, but whatever you're eating now, Just stop.
This happens in every episode of Secret Service. I love it.
Putting your knife and forks down, please.
Mom, Gordon Ramsay's here.
I love the awkwardness of these moments, the way everybody shuffles out in confusion. Even Rock is getting in on the action. Next, Gordon sits all the employees down and tells them that he's been in contact with one of them acting as the insider. This is probably how it feels to play mafia in a restaurant. Gordon and Larry go back and forth about the car catfish and some broken stuff in the kitchen, then Gordon ends on this line.
Think about it.
Once Gordon and his uncomfortably blue eyes are out of there, the staff starts panicking about who the insider might be. I feel like it's usually pretty easy to pick out who the insider is going to be because it's somebody who gets a good amount of screen time and is openly critical of the restaurant's current standards. Out of the 5 episodes that have been released as of recording this, the people I thought who would be the insiders were actually the insiders 3 out of 5 times. One of the 2 I didn't get was kind of a prank because it ended up being the owner herself. I did not know that was allowed. I think it's pretty funny how Gordon just drops in, closes the restaurant, tells them to get it together, then goes right back outside to his van. After an indeterminable amount of time, he decides he's not done roasting these people and he must continue, namely with Larry.
Can you accept change? Do you mind if I just have 2 minutes?
You know you're in trouble when Gordon asks for 2 minutes. That's always the measurement of time he gives for these things.
2 minutes.
Gordon pulls up a chair and sits backwards in it, youth pastor style. Larry tells Gordon about the restaurant's financial problems, which she hasn't told Mrs. White or Kiana about. Gordon tells Larry that he has to hand the business over to Kiana or else things will continue the way they are. That seems like such an obvious solution that I wonder how necessary Gordon's intervention is. After that, Gordon brings everyone back in to talk about ways they can fix the business.
What do you look at every day?
Instagram.
I don't care that much about restaurants, so correct me if I'm wrong, but is Instagram really the platform you use to look for good restaurants? I feel like you normally use Google or Yelp or something like that. The idea that you have to have such a strong social media presence as a restaurant is really weird to me. Like, Gordon criticizes them for only posting on their Instagram once per month, but really, what is there to post about so regularly? I do see how social media can help a restaurant grow, but I don't think that's the main thing we should be addressing right now, Gordon. It's like he already forgot about the soap chicken. In every episode of Secret Service, Gordon meets up with the owner outside. Gordon usually presents himself as a compassionate everyman, and that's what I think this outdoor chat segment is for. Across his shows, namely Kitchen Nightmares, I've noticed that Gordon has a deep love for older women.
Do you go to my cafe?
Well, first of all, it's so nice to see you.
This is no different in this episode when he goes to talk to Mrs. White before the food truck/social media event he planned with the younger staff earlier. Look at how close they're sitting. Look at how much Gordon is leaning forward. He loves old women. I wasn't joking. The food truck event goes well, Kiana stands out to Gordon as dedicated to the business, and Larry basically says that he's ready to let her take control of the restaurant. This leaves just one more Kitchen Nightmare staple for this show to bring in, the renovation. This tended to be one of the more controversial parts of Kitchen Nightmares. Owners, patrons, and viewers alike have complained that the extreme changes don't reflect the original theme or were hastily constructed without putting much thought into quality. I think the renovations are usually okay, but this is my least favorite on Secret Service so far. The bright lime green on nearly every wall is jarring in a bad way, and I'm not really a fan of how that color looks with all the orange accents. It is a million times better than the jail cafeteria look they had going on before, so I guess I shouldn't whine about it too much. The kitchen renovation is actually a huge deal. Since the original appliances didn't work and were missing essential pieces, they were all replaced. In every episode, Gordon gives the restaurant a ton of hex-clad utensils, which, depending on who you ask, might be nice or terrible. Hexclad isn't Gordon Ramsay's brand, but he is the most prominent spokesperson with his signature on the website's homepage. This part of the renovation montage definitely feels like an ad for Hexclad, which makes me wonder what his contract with them actually says. The last big thing that happens in an episode of Secret Service is the reveal of the insider. They build it up so much throughout the episode and even in this moment, hitting you with an ad break right before it's announced and using this tense music. It's not really that justified because, like I said earlier, it's pretty easy to figure out who the insider is. It was Kiana, by the way. I'm sure 99% of people could have guessed that, considering her position at the restaurant. The relaunch night is a main plot point on Kitchen Nightmares, but it gets mostly skipped over on Secret Service. I've yet to see an episode where the relaunch service goes poorly or even has one slip-up, which makes me think that Kitchen Nightmares was fake in those scenes or Secret Service is fake with it now. Either way, Gordon leaves the restaurant on a happy note and returns to his goofy little van. It feels like it's trying to capture the demographic of young people watching Gordon Ramsay compilations as background noise, only this time they want your undivided attention. That's what all those random graphics and spy nonsense are for, maintaining an audience with a shorter attention span. Secret Service is Kitchen Nightmares reskinned for the modern era of fast-paced, overproduced television, and while that can be annoying at times, it's a fun departure from what once was. I do intend to keep watching Secret Service as more episodes come out, but I doubt any of the observations I made about the show's patterns will change. I just hope Gordon starts warning his friends about the inedible food before they eat it next time.